planning, postgraduate planning, alcohol and other drug issues, mental health stabilization and maintenance, anger management, and family discord. Ms. McCleary describes the work she does with the youth as her passion, and she couldn't imagine doing anything else. So it is my pleasure and my honor to present our guest speaker today, Ms. Julia McCleary.
Thank you, Miss Evelyn, and I love you back.
Uh,
Good morning again, you guys. When Miss Evelyn contacted me and asked me to participate today, of course I was ready to go, overjoyed. And I'm actually on vacation, but for Miss E, I make it happen. And when she presented the topic of peer pressure and the things that the youth experience today, I, like many of you all, probably went straight to the negative of peer pressure and how peer pressure can contribute to kids getting into trouble. And so I thought about it and I processed it, and I have a couple of things I want to share. I want to start out by sharing a story. Um, if you were on the call earlier, you heard Miss Beverly say that when she passes by the boys' home, she thinks about me. That was one of my first jobs as a counselor. And I love that job and I love those kids so much so that one of the students, I can consider him to be one of my mentees. He was about the same age as my kids, and he had a lot of family issues, and I ended up taking him home like on Thanksgiving and Christmas and things of that nature. I'm gonna call him Marco, and I want to share that about 4 years ago, Marco decided to go get something to eat with some of his friends. They were like, come on, let's go have something, let's go grab something to eat. He jumped in the back of the car, and as far as he knew, was on his way to get something to eat. And during that time, on the way to the restaurant, they passed the young man on the road, and the two gentlemen in the front of the car jumped out of the car and robbed the man on the side of the road with a gun, and jumped back in, drove off. And now Marco is serving 25 years in prison for armed robbery and possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. And I can't promise you that Marco didn't know something was going on, but if he didn't know that something was going on, he is in prison for 25 years for going to get something to eat. And so I share that story with you all to say that life happens. There's some things we can control and some things we can't control. If he did know something was going on, I'm sure there would have been some peer pressure involved in that. Come on, man, we could do this. We can get this done, and it'd be really quick. But either way that you look at it, that was a life situation that occurred that drastically affected his life. And so I think the point that I want to make sure that I convey today is that, again, life happens, situations happen. All of us on this call, no matter how old, have been in situations that could have went one way or the other. But you can't control every situation, but you can control you. And so when you think about peer pressure, everybody thinks of peer pressure as the big bad wolf. It's not necessarily the big bad wolf. If everybody took time, we could tell you some things that happened to us that were very positive as a result of peer pressure. When we're at work and sharing with each other, and there's some things that have pushed me into positions that I would consider peer pressure. Changing jobs is very scary. And pressure from my family members and people who love me forced me to think about that kind of stuff and think about what's best for me and make some decisions and make some changes that I probably wouldn't have made out of fear. And so peer pressure can definitely be a good thing. But the big thing about peer pressure is, again, controlling you, trusting yourself, trusting your gut, knowing that when something doesn't feel right, it probably is not right. And it's very hard to be in a situation with people that you admire, and that you think highly of and that you want to like you, and to still make a good decision when they're doing something that's bad. So if you trust your gut and trust what you believe the situation to be and keep yourself out of those situations, it's a lot easier to avoid the negativity than to allow yourself to become involved in a situation where you now have to decide, do I look bad in front of everybody, or do I do this thing even though I know that it's not right? So one strategy of dealing with peer pressure is trusting your gut and avoiding situations that you know are going to be bad and going to make you have to make a difficult decision. I think the other big thing now, in today's time, that contributes to the pressures that you all have to deal with is social media. If you think about it, even TikTok is peer pressure. You get a notification every time somebody else makes a video. Such and such just posted a new video. If you want to be verified, you have to post these videos. Did you do the new challenge? And social media is just very, very, very big for you all. But social media is a form of peer pressure. What dances you do, what clothes you wear, what videos you post, posting fights and inappropriate videos and things of that nature. And I think that if I could impart anything to the younger people today, it would be that everything is not for public or to be placed onto social media. Once you place something in social media or on social media, you can't take it back. You can never get it completely back. You may take it down, but somebody has already screen recorded it. Somebody has already screenshotted it. And now, even if that is not who you are, you've posted that, and that's who people expect you to be. And that in itself can be peer pressure. You're trying to do well in school or avoid problems, and somebody has something that you posted and they're like, man, that's not what you said over here. That's not what you did on your video. And now you have to make a decision again. So dealing with peer pressure is about decisions. And any adult on here will tell you that the easiest way to make a decision is not to back yourself in the corner. When you utilize social media and not trust your gut, you're backing yourself in the corner. And anytime you back yourself in the corner, the potential to make a wrong decision is going to be greater. Another thing that has become more easy for you all to do or to allow into your life at a very early age is alcohol and drugs. I work with Miss Evelyn and Miss Beverly at the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Commission, and whereas they work with adults, I work with the youth. And I love that work with except the fact that the youth that I worked with had alcohol and drug abuse issues. And when I spoke with them about when they started using or why they used, a lot of it was pressure dealing with the crowd that they engage with. Everybody else was smoking weed. Everybody else was popping pills. And they didn't want to look like the odd man out. So again, if we go back to when you put yourself in a situation where you're going to have to make a difficult decision, the chances of making a bad decision are greater. So use us adults. I laugh at my daughter. I have a 22-year-old daughter. And now that she is older and we get to talk, I laugh at some of her stories where she told her friends, my mama said I can't go. And I never knew about whatever it was that they were trying to get her to go to. But she was like, my mom said I can't go. You know, use us when your gut tells you that this is not a good situation for you to be engaged in. Use the adults in your life that you can trust. Because I guarantee you, if you tell somebody, my mama said I can't go, your mama gonna tell them that that's what she said. Because if you're making that good decision, she's gonna support you. But I mean, I want to leave with you all the biggest strategy that I feel like dealing with peer pressure is trusting yourself, trusting your gut, and not backing yourself into a corner where you have to where you can, or the potential is there for you to make a bad decision. If you follow those things, then, you know, you're more likely to be able to deal with the pressures that you have to deal with. You have to go to school. You have to go, you know, you have to be involved in some things. You can't stay in the house, but you can keep yourself from having to deal with multiple situations where the decision is just really, really hard because you don't want to look bad. None of us want to look bad. So as adults, we may seem like we don't understand that, but we understand that. And so the best way for you to keep yourself from looking bad and having to make a poor decision is trusting yourself, trusting your gut, trusting the things that you've experienced and learned from the adults in your life. And when it's a bad situation, do your best to avoid that situation. That's it. Any questions?
That was awesome, Miss Julia. Julia and I actually go a little further back than her professional life. Her professional life. Back, we ain't gonna talk about that. I'm look, my son is on, so I ain't gonna share too much. But Julie and I go back to our college days at USC Upstate, so it's good to see you doing well and thriving. And I think all that you said was very important. One of the key things that I took away that I don't think a lot of individuals focus on is that social media is actual peer pressure as well. You know, they want to be seen as what they see on social media, the TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and all those other new things that I have no idea that are out there. But so I think that was a good key point that you put out there, letting them know, hey, you don't have to be what you see on the screen, because a lot of that is fake anyway. A lot of that is not reality. They put on and do those things to make it look good so that they can get followers. So I appreciate you bringing that point out and letting them know that they don't have to follow what they see, and to be mindful what they post, because like you said, once it's out there, it's out there. They can delete it, but 9 times out of 10, someone has already taken a screenshot and it has gone viral. So those were some great key points that I appreciated you saying.
Thank you.
Rhonda, I have a question for Miss Julia. Miss Julia, I was just wondering, as far as like for the young females who are growing up and with teen pressure, you know, young girls can be catty and seem to kind of come off and say offensive things, particularly when you may not be at the same school with those young females. I just want to get some feedback from you, or even everyone on the call, to shed some light about young girls, particularly young Black girls, and how they might not be able to see the empowerment that we have now as adults with how we empower each other, but just how that kind of can be instilled in these young females that we have, particularly like my daughter. I always try to teach her certain things and help her feel empowered to make decisions, but also not just feel like she has to, I don't want to come off wrong, but feel like she doesn't have to be bullied to come off and be ugly. She doesn't have to give into those things that other young girls do, but she can still have a voice, and her voice can be elevated, not to stoop down to no one else's level. So if you can just talk a little bit about that, particularly working with the youth who succumb to certain issues that they might deal with, or anyone on the panel, I think that would be good for some of our young girls. Because I know it's one thing to hear it from mama, but when they hear it from other females, sometimes it can resonate in a different way.
Right. I think the first thing I would say, and it's what I said to both of my daughters, is that you love you. You have to love you. And when you become 100% secure with you don't, what someone else says doesn't matter as much. First of all, they don't know you. 9 times out of 10, they don't know you. And it's almost like LaRonda was just bringing to the forefront, and when I was talking about with social media. There a lot of times with bullying, they're doing those things to try to impress someone, or trying to make themselves feel better. And so I know my presenter, Mr. Anderson, is going to talk a lot about self-esteem. But generally, the ones that are bullying have low self-esteem, and they are not secure in themselves. And so I think the first step in dealing with bullying and dealing with girls who don't mean you the best is making sure that you're secure in yourself and you love yourself. There's anything going on that you are not happy with, then that's when you use your mom, you use other women in your circle to address what's going on, because issues don't go away, feelings don't go away. So if you were to say to me right now, ooh, I don't like that she's natural, I'm gonna say cool, because I love that I'm natural. So when you are secure within yourself, it's easier to accept other people's criticism, to not let that get deep in your soul. And so I think the thing that I've seen dealing with young girls the most is that people pick out the insecurities or the things that girls are insecure with, and that's what they target. But if you strengthen yourself and love you, then it's easier to deal with and to push aside any of that nonsense from people who don't matter. I don't know. Anybody else have anything?
I'm going to be talking a little bit later, but I definitely will agree with Julia. It's important to kind of identify who you are and owning, everything that God has created you to be, and believing that God has created you to be great. And you have to speak it, you have to live it, you have to believe it every single day, every moment that you live. You have to know who you are so you can identify who you're not and who else is trying to tell you who you're not. Identify those things. And it's all about just being intentional about what you want in life, and believing in everything that, again, God has downloaded into your spirit. And today, as I dive in, you'll hear a little bit more about that space of identity development and knowing who you are and believing in your own skin. You're great. All of you young people here are great in your own way. The interesting thing and the unique thing is finding what that way is. And it's not easy. It's a continuous discovering process where you're going to continue to develop, finding yourself at this stage. There's another stage you're going to find yourself, but own that thing, baby. Own it, right? And we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit. I just want to answer that.
The only thing I would add is moms in the room, expose your babies as much as you can to things where they learn to take constructive criticism and where they learn to take criticism. I danced with Marguerite Bell Megan and then Marguerite Bell my entire youth, since I was probably about 4 years old. And Marguerite didn't come in the room and say, hey, baby, your leg is not, straight. I need you to point your toes, sweetheart. She came in the room and she was rough and she was, very stern and strict. And I absolutely love and would go to war for her. And what I learned over time, at first it hurt my feelings because I'm like, why is she yelling at me? I'm at dance class. I'm not supposed to know exactly what to do. But as I learned, she was doing it out of love. She was doing it out of making me want to be better. And so how that translated for me into dealing with chatty girls or catty girls was they didn't mean me any good. So what they said to me bounced off of me like I had a Wonder Woman shield on me. And so you learn how to take criticism and know that that is of that person and not necessarily of you. And you just build strength and character and security in who you are. So I just wanted to add that.
That is awesome. Great question, Deidre. Appreciate the question. Love the dialogue in the talk. So we will move forward to our next speaker, and Mr. Marcel Anderson will be introduced by Ms. Beverly Shelton.
All right, again, thank you. Thank you. Good talk, Julia. Glad to see you still on that wall. All right, it fell my lot to introduce someone that I'm very fond of, and I will call him my second son. With 3 studio albums on his list of accomplishment, neo soul artist and bestseller author Marcel Anderson brings soul, jazz, and inspirational gospel to make music that put listeners in another atmosphere. Born with a twin, Marcus Anderson, and an older set of twins, Alpheus and Aaron Anderson, a group who was formed they called the Anderson Twins, which sing locally throughout Spartanburg and surrounding areas. Marcel Anderson has traveled the world singing alongside his twin brother, sax player Marcus Anderson. His brother worked with the late Prince and the new Power Generation, led him to join on the stage with like the likes of Cleo Green, Judith Hill, Stevie Wonder, Sheila E., Anthony Hamilton, and Live Warfare Phil, just to name a few. Although singing was Marcel's first passion, he has developed a love for education and mentoring. He earned a bachelor's degree of arts and psychology from St. Augustine University in Raleigh, North Carolina, and a master's degree in human behavior from Capella University. Marcel became the founder and CEO of Accelerating Men Incorporated, a nonprofit community faith-based organization that mentor young men ages 10 through 18, with location in both North Carolina and South Carolina. Through workshops, mentoring, and conference call, Accelerating Men work hard to educate, train, and cultivate young men to become all that God has called them to be. And without further ado, I present to you all Mr. Marcel Anderson.
Marcel, before you get totally started, I meant to mention those of you that are on the Zoom, there's a little button that says reaction. So if you will, use that to respond with a clap, a thumbs up, a heart, just to let the speakers know and everybody else know, how you're either agreeing with what they're saying, if it touches your heart. So just kind of use that, because most of the time we can kind of speak up and say, yeah, we like that. But for the Zoom sake, you can use the reactions button. All right, Mr. Marcel, it is yours.
I need to unmute myself so you guys can hear me. All right, we're working it out. All right, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. First, I want to say, sound like I'm at church. First, get another guy, but I'm not. But anyway, first, I want to thank Ms. Beverly Shelton, who's like another mother to me, and appreciate her, connecting with me and allowing me to be on this platform, and to your president, Ms. Gilliam. Thank you so much for the opportunity for allowing me to be here, and to the other phenomenal speaker, Ms. Julia. I think we've met maybe in passing. I'm not sure, maybe in social media land. But again, to everyone that's on this call, the teens, the parents, the facilitators, thank you guys for being here. I think today I have learned a lot, even being the other end and hearing from Ms. Julia. I really appreciate all the words that you shared today. And love to collaborate in some fashion as well. As Ms. Beverly shared my bio, didn't know she was going to read all of that, but I'm grateful to be able to hear those things that I have pursued, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit on the screen. I wanted to start out with some of the things that she shared. I am an author, best-selling author of a book called Still Living. If you don't have that, you can go purchase that right now as we speak before we leave. You have a copy of that downloaded um, online. So shameless plug, promoting that book, my first book, CD that I've designed. I am an artist by profession. I love singing. Singing is my life. Singing is my heartbeat. It keeps me moving, keeps me going when life and challenges come in my life. I find this as a coping mechanism, a strategy, a way to help me to get through things. And I'll talk about that a little bit later as well. And I also do have a twin brother named Marcus Anderson. I think it was Elijah who said was he the saxophonist. Is that right, Elijah? Okay. Love to talk to you about your music, brother. He's a saxophonist, but outside of him, I have my own identity. To the left, you see me smiling. Even behind that smile, there are some challenges that was taking place in my personal life. There was things that took place in my life that you would even think because I'm smiling. And sometimes we may go through life smiling and then not knowing how to deal with those things on the inside.
Go around, like I said, I've seen the green.
Okay,
I think I got it. You good?
Okay. And as Ms. Beverly stated, I do have a mentoring program called Accelerating Men, where we mentor African-American males ages 10 to 18. So again, just kind of give you another scope as Ms. Beverly shared in the bio, so you can actually see some of the things that God has given me and allowed me to move into. So today, we're gonna do a little small icebreaker. And for those teens, I know you've been in school all week, but if you have a sheet of paper and a pen, you don't have to get it now, but throughout this conversation, eventually I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen, and I want to have you to draw. And even those adults, if you're young at heart as well, you can participate as well. Young at heart. So I want you to look at this car. If you could choose one vehicle that reflects your identity and personality, what vehicle would you choose? I want to know, why did you choose that vehicle? And I'm going to ask you guys to come off mute to share with me what vehicle you would choose. I chose a Camaro because I love fast cars. I love fast cars. I just love fast cars. I love two-door cars. I don't like everybody being in my car, so I get two-door cars so everybody can ride with me. I used to have four-door cars in college and high school. Everybody want to ride with you, and they think they can ride with you because you have a bigger car. The two-door car limits the people who in your car, and that's going to make sense a little bit later. Y'all follow me today. It's going to be a theme and analogies that I'll use as relates to the car being associated to your life. So again, not all at the same time, if you could choose one vehicle that reflects your identity and personality, what vehicle would you choose and why?
Cadillac.
Oh, Cadillac. Okay, who said Cadillac?
Miss Diane.
Okay, why are you choosing a Cadillac?
It reminds me of me and my personality, confident, smooth, easygoing, peaceful, comfortable.
Okay, awesome. And while you're doing it, if you don't have a piece of paper or pen, you can also participate. I want you to draw what your Cadillac would look like, your own version. So yeah, who's next?
I went a bit, this is Julia, I went a bit unconventional. The first thing that popped in my head was a submarine. I love water. I am at the beach right now looking at water as I'm talking to you all. Water is my peace. So I would love to be a vehicle that could always be in the water. Also hard on the outside, not necessarily hard on the inside. And I feel like I function well under pressure. So.
Who else want to talk to me? Where my teens at out there? I know you guys are teens at heart too, adults, but what other teens at? I wrote your names down, teens, so please don't let me call you out. I taught high school for 6 years, and I don't teach high school anymore, but I'd like to give you the opportunity to, raise your hand or just go ahead and blurt it out, but I have your names here. Amanda, go ahead and talk to me.
I chose an Audi.
Okay.
And I chose it because whenever I see an Audi, it kind of like shows class and fanciness, and that's how I like to describe myself, as having class.
Awesome. I hope you have started drawing your vehicle as people are talking, and I want you to add those characteristics in that car as well, okay? You add that in there as well. Awesome. Class. I love it. All right. Who else? Who else? Elijah? Am I saying your name right?
Because yes, I don't have a name for any car. I just want a car that's small and can get me from point A to point B. Not looking for any specific type of car. Just one to get me to my destination.
I love it. I love it. So in drawing your car, right, you have your own unique car. You make me think that you are a creator. You have ideas, creative ideas to start creating your own, and that's good, right? So I want you to create your own car right now in this moment. You put me in the mind of an entrepreneur, right, who wants to start his own journey to get to where he wants to go. So create and draw. When you're drawing your vehicle, I want you to draw what you want, obviously, is your own. And I want you to add those areas in there as well. Let me take one more. Madison.
A Jeep Wrangler.
Ooh.
It's because it has different colors.
Okay.
And also I just want to get to point A to point B.
I don't know how many people are in that.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Let me go ahead and talk to Let me talk to people. Don't forget to draw your car and write those things that you've shared with us in your car, anywhere in the car. Woman, still with us? Okay, we'll keep going. Well, thank you guys for participating in that icebreaker. As you guys kind of hear the theme today in the topic that I've selected and chosen, you guys going to hear that used as an analogy as it relates to your car being associated to your life and your body. But I really want to focus on this focus topic is identity development, approaching the checkpoint, identity development, approaching the checkpoint. So today, we want to, or the purpose I would rather say, is to help you identify how valuable you are in life. Amanda, you are valuable. Say it with me, Amanda. Say, I am valuable. There you go. To help you consistently identify and examine the obstacles and checkpoints in your life. The purpose is to help you overcome and push past pressures of life. You heard Julia talk about those peer pressures earlier, and then also to help you drive into purpose. I want everyone to say, I am purpose to live. Everybody, not even just the team, everyone say, I am purpose to live. I am purpose to live. I am purpose to live. I want to help you drive into purpose beyond the struggles of life, because life brings challenges, life brings roadblocks, life brings checkpoints. And then ultimately, as I mentioned, identity development, I want to help you better understand who you are. You are unique in your own way. There's only one Amanda, there's only one Madison, there's only one Coleman, there's only one Elijah. You are unique. Go ahead and say it to yourself. Say, I am unique. And Amanda, while you say I'm unique, say I'm classy. Say it, because you already told me what you were. And see, you're laughing, but you are that. Sometimes we don't even know what we are. We don't say it enough. We have to consistently speak the things that we are, right? Because we attract what we say oftentimes, and we attract what we like as well. So as we talking about identity, who am I? I want you guys to look in the mirror of your life. Even if you have a mirror right now, if you have a reflection, I know you got your phones, you can pull out your phones, and I want you to look at the reflection of yourself. And I want you to know, I want to ask you, what do you see? When you look in the mirror, you pull your phones out, you can pull the camera out. I want to ask me, what do you see? When you look in the mirror, when you look at yourself, and I'm doing the same thing right now. Y'all don't believe me. What do you see? I want you guys to tell me what you see. I'm talking about your identity. Who are you? When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Lee, I see glasses, of course, a hat. But I see a man who have accomplished things and overcome challenges, a man who believes in himself, a man who's not going to give up, a man who believes that God is the center of his life. What do you see when you look in the mirror in yourself? Y'all talk to me all at the same time. I'm not gonna call you guys out, so I'm gonna let you just come off mute and talk to me. You guys see? Look in the mirror. And everyone can participate.
Y'all don't be shy. Speak up.
This is Jasmine over here. I would like to say that I see a very free-loving, excited, joyful person whose personality is infectious and who is filled with nothing but joy. And it took time to get to that place to tie that in, meaning when you're different from a lot of people and you have joy and people question why you have that joy, you seem to want to dim your light and blend in with other people. And so when you lose sight of that, it kind of takes you out of alignment with who you are as a person. But when you grab that back, you understand the value of what that is within you. You realize that's what makes you unique from other people. Then you start to hold on to that. So I want to put that out there for everybody. Whoever feels like dimming your light is what's going to help you blend in with other people. Don't do it.
I wrote your name down, Jasmine. I just couldn't see. I remember writing your name down, but that was good as well. I'll allow you to go ahead and take over the rest of the presentation. That's awesome.
I appreciate that.
Who else? Who else want to talk to me? Come on, you guys talk to me. Talk to me. I want to be interactive. I know you guys can't touch me, physically, but you guys can see me. Talk to me. Talk to me. We're gonna take about 1 or 2 more, and then we're gonna keep moving. I know I don't have a lot of time, so again, if there's any questions after the presentation, you guys can text, email me, and get in contact with the president, Ms. Beverly, to ask additional questions. But we're gonna keep moving, but take 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, Bertha Robinson. When I look at myself in the mirror, I see an accomplished person or a person with class, a person that lacks nice things. I'm a reliable person, a God-fearing person, and a positive person.
Awesome. I'll take another, 1 more. We're moving.
When I looked at myself, I saw hopefully a future counseling psychologist and a future business owner.
Wow, awesome. And I hope you guys, every time you share this, write this in your card as well. Write this in your card. You're just kind of building accessories that's in your car as well. As you have just rolled your car, write these things in your car. So you guys are describing your identity, defining who you are, which is good. So identity is simply encompasses the memories, experiences, relationships, and values that create one's sense of self. Identity is the qualities, beliefs, and personality looks or expressions that make up a person. So your relationship, your experiences, your memories, create who you are as a person, your beliefs, things that you believe in, right? Not dimming your light, shining your light, and making sure that you are whole and believe that no one can talk against who you are when you believe in who you are. No one can talk against who you are when you truly believe and hold on to who God's called you to be. I know this is not a spiritual setting, but sometimes I may just speak about God because that's just who lives inside of me. That's my identity. Without him, I'm absolutely nothing. So again, understanding who you are, which is going to be key, is going to make sense as we move forward throughout this journey. And why is that important? The critical years in your identity development is during this adolescent stage. The critical years in you teens developing right now is the adolescent stage. All right. And Eric Erickson, who's a psychoanalyst who I studied in school, has an 8 stage of development, identity development, right? And in this 5th stage is where he really focused on you special, unique individuals that's on this call, right? He says you have to understand oneself during this period, right? Understanding who you are and also understanding who you're not, because this is a critical time where you may become confused and trying to discover who you are. But hold on to the positive things and the belief systems that your parents, godparents, teachers, influencers, whoever have helped you to navigate to that destiny, right? As Elijah said, working his own way towards his end goal, right? So in this adolescent stage is the critical time where you discover who you really are. But as you go through this life, don't go through motions and during this adolescent stage, don't go through the motions and think that you have time to get things right or to try to fix it or try to figure things out in your life. This is a critical time where you have to pay attention to life and time. We're living in a critical time, what we were talking about, the pandemic, right? A lot of us have to deal with ourselves and sit with ourselves and learn a lot about who we really are. So in the reality, some of the things that you guys answered about yourself, I'm sure they have changed, right, since last March, or they have evolved, or you've experienced more things about yourself because you had to spend time with yourself. If you really have spent time with yourself, you really learn who you are during this process. But think about Erickson, and he talks about this in terms of identity development. As you guys move at each stage of your life, as I mentioned, the 8 stages of your life, you have to understand that the challenges that you those challenges are the earlier stages, more challenging at the later stage. Are y'all with me? Did I lose you? My connection. Okay.
You're back now. You're back now.
Okay, awesome. As I mentioned, I talked about the 8 stages of development. I mentioned if you don't deal with the challenges at an earlier stage of your life, they'll carry over to the later stages of your life. Erickson says that. So as you develop and you move and evolving at each stage of your life as a teenager, as an adolescent, when you deal with challenges, deal with the challenges. Don't let them deal with you. We'll talk about that a little bit more. That's how you become aware of who you are as an individual, as a person, as you move into the stage, the checkpoint, approach the checkpoint in life. And what I mean by approaching the checkpoint, I mean that each thing that comes your way is not going to be easy. Each thing that comes your way in life is not going to be easy. There's going to be some checkpoints that you're going to end up facing. There's going to be some roadblocks that you're going to end up facing, right? So on this picture, I have a police checkpoint, and I want to just ask anybody, what is a police checkpoint? When you look at a police checkpoint, what is that definition of a police checkpoint? Not all of you, same time.
When you're driving through and all of a sudden you get to a checkpoint and they're asking you for your license and registration and possibly insurance, make sure you're legit.
Make sure you're legit. And that's going right into the second one. Name 5 things police look for and ask you before passing through a police checkpoint. You already said one, a couple of them. You said what, license, right?
Registration.
What else?
Insurance.
Insurance. What else?
Mm,
Is that it?
sometimes they ask where you going.
Right, right. Where you going? And what's the purpose of checkpoints, police checkpoints? What are they designed to do?
Sometimes they may be looking for someone that have committed a crime, and so they're trying to see if they can, as they do these checkpoints, to see if that individual may pass through where they are.
Right.
And they also make sure you're legal on the highway.
Thank you. Legal. Right. But what happens when you go through a checkpoint and they end up seeing some things on your car or smell some things in your car that doesn't belong there? What happens? What happens? What happens to you, or what does the police officer say? Have you ever been stopped and your light was out, you didn't know it? You're just going through life, just riding, your lights out, or something in your car that needed to be fixed or inspected, but you didn't know, and the cop is going to do one or two things. What is he going to do? Talk to me, guys. I know some of you guys may not be driving yet, teens or adults. They can relate to this, but what's he going to say?
They'll tell you to get out of the car sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they're gonna search the car.
Say it again.
They're gonna search the car.
Yeah. They're going to search the car. As someone said earlier, making sure that everything in the car is legal, right?
Mhm.
Making sure you have what you need in the car. If you don't, they're either going to give you a warning or take you to what?
Yeah.
Lock you up.
The jail.
They're going to take you to jail or lock you up. So as you are moving through life and understanding who you are and approaching the checkpoint of life, it's so critical that you as teens check yourself before you wreck yourself. What I mean by that, make sure that you have everything you need in order to get to the checkpoint. Do you have everything you need in your life before you get to the checkpoint of life? I'm using the analogies, okay? Help me out, okay? Because this is what a checkpoint stands for. A checkpoint doesn't mean it's a good thing or it's a bad thing or indifferent, young people. Let me tell you what a checkpoint means. That change is happening. And are you ready for the change that's getting ready to happen in your life today at this Teen Summit? Change is happening. Are you ready for the change? Do you have all the necessary tools and the skill sets to get past the checkpoint? Are you living in the trueness and essence of who you're supposed to be? As an analogy, do you have the right mindset? Do you have the right spirit? Do you have the right attitude? Or are you just being nasty? Do you have the right strength to get past the challenges that life brings you? How is your personality? How is your grades? I know this is online school. I know some of you guys are not back into the building, but for those who are taking school online, or even if you are, in the building, you may not have a lot of friends. So there's no reason why all these students should have all A's. And I challenge all of my young men within my program. They all have to have a 2.5 GPA to be a part of my program. And especially this year, there's no reason why they should be failing. Everyone on this call, your teens, if you're having some challenges in school, you need to assess this checkpoint. Don't keep moving forward until you assess and check what's going on. I'm not speaking to anybody on this call because I know all these wonderful, unique teens are very smart and they're doing what they're supposed to do, right? Right. As you move past this checkpoint, do you have the right people that's around you? Do you have the right friends in your circle, in your convoy, right? Bad company corrupts what? Good character. Are you identifying the conversation that you're not supposed to have? As Julia said, she heard her daughter say, well, mama said, I can't do that. Are you adhering to the voice of wise counsel? Are you taking that with you as you move and navigate through life? Are you checking your love for yourself and your love for others? Do you love yourself? Are you having challenges with yourself, and why? Why is that? Why you don't love yourself? What are those challenges that you're constantly facing every single day that someone is telling you that's not true and you're constantly believing them? Or do you believe them? Are you looking at that mirror that we talked about earlier and you are describing who you really are and who you really see? Because I believe you are. Are you connecting with the resources? Take the preventative measures, right? As you move forward, as you move past this checkpoint to make this drastic change for the better of your future. When you get to a checkpoint moving forward today, or you get to a roadblock in life, I want you guys to stop. I want you to assess what it is that you're doing and what you're not doing, right? Because it's so important to identify how you respond to these roadblocks and checkpoints in life. Because we are going to face some challenges in life. We're all going to face some type of obstacle in life, right? And Eric Erickson also speaks, I speak a lot about him in the work that I do. He says, when you experience a challenge, young people, and I'm sure the adults can relate to this, it's not the end of the day for you, okay? But a turning point can be what? A roadblock or a challenge can be a turning point, right? And he says, it's how you respond to your situations can either dictate or determine your final destination. So you have to ask yourself, how am I responding to bullying? How am I responding to my mother, my father, my parents, right? When I'm faced with a challenge, how am I responding to this pandemic? What type of mindset do I have? Am I shining light in the community? Like Jasmine said earlier, am I dimming my light? Right? Because your words matter. Death and life is in the power of your tongue. So when you're talking about obstacles, these are things that block you and prevent you from progressing. Talking about roadblocks, these are barriers, right? These are barriers that are set up by authorities to stop and examine your traffic. I'm talking about traffic that's going on in your body, using this analogy. Are you constantly examining your traffic, the things that's internally in you? Are you just letting it stay there? Are you just letting it build up? Let destruction happen. I want you to understand that today you have the ability to identify the true person that God has called you to be. But what happens when life catches you off guard? How do you respond to those situations? Because life will catch you off guard. Can anybody share any experience? I'm gonna share my experience. I'm gonna close out. Anything that have caught you off guard that it was very difficult for you to handle. And you don't have to share it. You don't have to go in the depth. Is there anything that caught you off guard? Because sometimes you get to a checkpoint and unexpectedly, it catches you off guard and you wasn't ready for it. You wasn't prepared for it. Is there something that in your life, in the past, that caught you off guard that you wasn't ready for?
I can speak to that. Yeah, hear me? Oh, okay. I would definitely say, because I think a lot of people have this in common, and I think it's based off of obviously planning and preparation. But when you speak on identity, I would definitely say, because it's actually, I feel like I hate to say it in this way, but I will say student loan debt. And when I say that, because I was not sure of what I wanted to do when I was younger. And so I was going back and forth with so many. One, I went to 3 different schools for one. And that dimming your light and getting out of alignment. So I'm a creative, but I wasn't seeing creative people. And so I thought, oh, well, I have to take the traditional route like everyone else and try to be some type of psychologist, physical therapist, doctor, whatever the case may be. And so once I saw that there's actually a community of creative people, I was immediately drawn to that.
Yeah.
But if I would have known sooner and in my identity and really owning in on that and really nurturing that, I don't think I would have been where I am, because even as an adult today, it makes you question, like so I'm 29, I'll be 30 in March. So it makes you question, will I have a family one day? Because I'm nowhere in my mind right now where I can even think about that. Will I have marriage? Am I actually going to financially be able to have a home? It's those certain things that have dramatically, that I can say, that has affected me. Now, school is an investment. I will never change that, because I love the experience that I received. It has molded me to another, a person of who I am today.
Mhm.
However, I will say, for the kids that are in this room right now, it's very important that you really own in on who you are as a person, because that really does determine your future and where you want to go in your life. And when you know who you are as a person, you don't have other voices that are telling you who you are and what you should do, as far as your future. Because at the end of the day, when everybody else is gone, when mama and daddy, grandma, grandpa, auntie, whoever it is, when they have left the earth, who is it that you want to be when you're grown and you're living your life? What is it do you think will fulfill you as a person when everybody else is gone? So that's something to consider.
Yeah, a lot to consider. No, that's great. Anyone else? We're drawing a close. I know didn't have much time, but I wanted to at least give insight on this topic. If you guys ever want to ask any additional questions outside of us closing, please feel free. How about one more slide before I hear from maybe one or two more individuals? What are some of the things that caught you off guard unexpectedly? It just caught you off guard, like, wow, I wasn't expecting this at point.
This is Bertha Robinson. I'm just thinking in terms of the young people with this coronavirus and the young people that lost their parents, a blink of an eye, teenagers, and that's something that caught them off guard. And I'm thinking, they're thinking, what's next for me?
Yeah. It's good. One more, please. If there's not another one, what are some ways that we can respond to obstacles and challenges in our life? What are some practical ways we can really implement into our life and help ourselves to work through those challenges? How can we respond better? Not saying we haven't responded better, but just for those who are struggling and finding ways to respond to life crises, to obstacles, to roadblocks in life. As Erickson said earlier, how we respond to situations dictate where we end up. So what are some ways that we can respond to life crises when they do come up? For example, during this pandemic, how have you been responding to the pandemic? Things in your life, for an example.
Diane Miles, I think that we have to search and look for other ways. And going back to what Jasmine said, one size does not fit all.
Mm-hmm.
And we must always feel like there's more than one answer to any situation. And we start researching and we start looking within ourselves and realizing what our skills and our abilities are. Because, we hold ourselves back. I know we have all these obstacles, but if we realize there's always a way out of any situation, but we just got to reach into ourselves and start investigating, researching, and finding out what that is.
Yeah. Anyone else? We'll take one or two.
I think it's also important when you go through it, challenges, is to ask yourself, who are my resources? And who is it that I believe will give me the best advice? Because you can't just ask anybody for
Right.
You have to be very careful who you talk to. So I think the first thing, especially young people, is who who are those people in my life that I most admire, that I trust, who I look up to. And, and once you identify who they are, then feel free to utilize them, because they may not necessarily know what you're going through unless you speak up. Because one of the things, I've become keenly aware of, that suicide is on the rise. And for a lot of people, when they feel overwhelmed and they don't have any other option, they think about ending their life. So never let that be a thought that you allow to entertain in your mind. Always say to yourself, what are my options?
Mhm.
Who are my resources? I'm not alone. Remind yourself that you have within yourself the necessary tools to go through whatever the storm is. From a young person to, to seniors in life, we have tools. And just identify who those people are. Some of them may be on the physical sense, like your parents, or it could be on the spiritual sense, as who your higher power is, who I choose to call God. And he said he would never leave us or forsake us. So just know you're never alone, regardless of how bad the wind's blowing, how hard the rain is coming down. There are always another side to the story, and keep believing in yourself. So, I could, go on about that, but I won't. I'll turn it back to our illustrious speaker, who's doing a dynamic job. But we're going to have things that catch us off guard. That's just life. Life's going to happen. Storm's going to come up. It can be real sunny in that morning, and by midday, it could get cloudy and the rain could come pouring down. But always ask yourself, what are my resources? What are my tools? And always have a plan. If plan A don't work, go to plan B. B don't work, go to plan C. Keep a plan, because you never know when you have to use one of those plans to navigate through the storms. And just trust yourself.
Absolutely. Because I tell you, when life catches you off guard, you got to keep moving, even when you don't want to.
Yes, and what happens to us doesn't define us. It's how we deal with the situation. That's what defines us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to deal with it before it deals with you. If not, it's going to overtake you. It's going to overwhelm you. It's cause you to lose your mind, like DMX said up in here, right? I speak often in various places across the country about my survival story. Many of you may know, I'm not going to go into depth, but as a survivor of a home invasion, being brutalized and hit and beat and held gunpoint, what that does to you psychologically as a man sometimes can isolate you and remove you from the norm. And I want to speak about this: when life catches you off guard and you need help, get the help you need, get the support you need. When you're hurting, good and well you have to get your car checked. Good and well, I'm talking about your life and the things that's inside of you need to address them. I sought professional counseling for many, many, many years, and it's because of that I was able to propel myself or get myself to a place where I am now, right? To learn more about my story, you can go purchase my book today. I'm not going to go more in depth with my story, but as a survivor of a challenging situation that I've experienced, I believe it's important that we as individuals have to deal with those things. Yes, they can be challenging, but take the necessary steps. Like Evelyn said, have the resources, the right people. Not everyone can help diagnose you or help support you and have a conversation about what you're going through. The right people, some of those who are trained, those who are licensed. Every pastor can't speak to your situation. Every teacher can't speak to your situation. Parents, yes, we believe in them, but as Deidre said earlier, there's other people that can support you as well, teens. So as we move, past this roadblock, just keep pushing past the obstacles. So today I want you to walk away knowing and doing. I want you to spend more time discovering and learning who you are. Okay, number one. Two, don't wait until it's too late to identify and examine the obstacles and roadblocks in your life. Don't wait too late. Take the preventative measures now. Okay. Three, stay consistent in pursuing purpose. And I really get a chance to tap into purpose. Listen, I can talk about purpose all day. There's so much you can talk about as a purpose, but don't give up on yourself. The dreams, the creativity side, Jasmine talked about her being a creative. Elijah, you're a creator, sir. You don't know it yet, but I believe you are a creator. You have something unique about you, okay? Stay consistent in pursuing your purpose. and you will get consistent, purposeful results. I guarantee you. Monitor and examine your vehicles, your body, your life, your mind, your soul, your spirit, right? Daily, daily, daily. Sometimes I get in the car, I don't check my tires. I know something wrong and I can just feel it. I don't check, I just keep moving. Before you get in your vehicle, make sure you check what's going on, check what's going wrong. When you don't feel right internally, you go to the doctor. Got a headache, you take Advil. So again, just really be more intentional about your life and self-care, taking care of yourself. Don't let everything and everyone in your vehicle, as I mentioned earlier, bad company corrupts good character. Everyone's not designed for your identity development. And you have to recognize that by knowing who you are. People got to. You have to recognize the vehicle warning signs. When your engine light is on, go get your oil check.
Right.
Come and get your oil change, right? When things are on in your life and you know good and well that, hey, I may need to check myself or I reckon myself, why am I acting like this? Why am I speaking like this? And probably because of the people you're hanging around, the things that you're watching, the things that you are downloading in the psyche and your mind. So be mindful, be careful, right, on what you do, because it can dictate where you end up long term. So again, thank you guys for allowing me to be here. I know there may be some questions open to it, but if not, I want to say thank you to each of you for allowing me to be here today.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Awesome. Awesome. If we could clap, we would be clapping right now. We had two amazing guest speakers. My son is in the other room and I can hear him clapping. So everyone was awesome. Appreciated. So many takeaways to be able to share with other individuals, even though we didn't have a large crowd, but those that needed to be here were here to hear what you and Julia both had to say. So we greatly appreciate that. One of the things, bad company corrupts good character. I love it. I love it. I've heard it before, but it's been a while, but I love it. And I think the common goal or theme that you and Julia both had was being able to speak to yourself in a positive way, not to listen to what other individuals say, but to be able to know who you are and whose you are. I know you said, this is not a religion platform, but God is in you. And so you can only speak from where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
That's your experience. And so that's what you have to give us. And so we appreciate that. And I'm not the closing person, so I'm going to hush and be quiet. But do we have I'm sorry.
Any questions you have? I know you're a parent of a son.
Well, I actually have a question. Did you go to Dorman?
I did. It's the only high school in.
Watch it.
Okay. So
Watch it.
do you know Alicia Frye?
Mm-hmm. I know Alicia Frye.
Okay, so that's my bonus daughter. That's actually Elijah's sister.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I'm not sure if it was you or your brother that actually spoke to my oldest son, who actually plays the saxophone as well, and was trying to encourage him to go to be more into it. He didn't take that route, but still, so small world. Small world. Any other questions, Madam President, or any other of the sisters on here? Do y'all have any questions?
No. Just enjoyed everything. Everything was outstanding.
Marcel, can you tell us how to get your book?
Yeah, just go to my website and I'll put it in the chat as well.
Okay.
MarcelAndersonmusic.com, MarcelAndersonmusic.com, because I've been working on several books, which will be released this year. Working on a how-to book, how-to guide, how to overcome challenges, how to overcome challenges in life, a 10-step guide on how to get towards that end goal, that destiny that Elijah talked about. And that's, again, finding out who you are, determining, who you are so you can decide who you're not. So that how-to guide will be coming out in part 2 to my very first book. Maybe 1 or 2, you may have read it. It's going to be a continuation of Still Living Part 2, Road to Recovery, when you've gone through something in life that, the recovery process is continuous. Sometimes people feel like, oh, you've gone through this and, oh man, you recovered, it's different stages, different levels of recovery as well. So again, you can go to my website, MarcelAndersonmusic.com, and see those products there.
Awesome. And so if you will put that in the chat, I'd appreciate it because I actually did record it, Madam President, so we can share with some of our other ladies as well.
Thank you.
All right. So Miss Evelyn Gilliam, the ball is in your court.
Well, first, I want to say blessings to everyone. This has been a dynamic summit, our first virtual summit, and I would like to say it's been a tremendous success. And thank everyone for your participation and your sharing, from the little ones up to our NHBW members. The experience has been, just terrific. All the comments have been wonderful and on point. Ms. Julia wants you to know she enjoyed it. She had to step away, but feel free to email me or put in the chat any questions you may have for her, and we will send it to her. But she wanted me to say she enjoyed being with you guys as well, and excuse her for having to step away. But I want to say again to the presenters, you, Marcel, since you're still with us, your points were awesome and on point. And young people know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And always, try your best to do affirmations every day. Affirmation is strong points that you present to yourself each day. There are 30 days in a month. This month we have 28. But one thing I said to my children along the way growing up is always have an affirmation each day. I am beautiful. I am wonderfully made. I am smart. I am strong. It's very important that we start the day knowing that we're good. And that just helps us be aware that we have a presence that is beautiful. And when you meet those challenges, never be afraid to reach out and ask for help. So just know it's a process, and we're all going to get there one day at a time. We can't go any faster, but one day at a time, we can make a difference. And you guys, young people, you are the future generation that we know are going to do great things. So just keep marching ahead, and just know other people's opinion of you is really, as you used to tell me, not your business. Other people's opinion of you is not your business. So that says to you, pay attention to the voice that matters most. Who am I? Not the opinion of who you are, but look in that mirror and know who you are. Because you are wonderful. You may not make straight A's every day, every time you do a test. That's okay. You give it your best. You may not have all the answers. That's okay. Everybody's learning. Every day is a day of learning. You never get too old to learn. Listen to the people that love you. Listen to them. So, I've been very touched by the experience, and I'm glad you guys were on board, every one of you, and continue to press forward. So
I have one more thing to add. Can I add something? I'm sorry. I apologize.
Certainly.
I meant to do this early on. I just want to do this. I know you guys may pray and, maybe spiritual, but I want to take a moment with you guys just to kind of do a checkpoint right now. I want you to just kind of close your eyes and again, just kind of take a deep breath. I know a lot of what's been shared today. So if you guys just close your eyes and just take a deep breath and slowly release it. It's really just kind of center yourself. And again, I don't believe anything else but God and what he believes in, but I think meditation and I think self-reflection and really taking in all of what was been said today. And then also just really doing this even more self-care, I think is very key. Breathe in and out, breathe in, breathe out again and release it. Just clear your mind of anything, the thing that's going on in your life. Just think about positive things that will come out of today and speak it and believe it. So yeah, I just want to do that real quickly. Do more of that. I think it'd be very helpful. Again, however you desire. I wanted to incorporate that. I do that with young men, and a lot of young men, go through many challenges in life. So we try to find different ways and strategies, coping mechanisms to help them get through those things. So I want to share that. Thank you for doing it.
Again, thank you, everyone. I know we went a little bit beyond the clock, but that's okay. I think it was very well worthwhile and necessary. And thank you again for being a part of our first Teen Summit. And we will be in touch very soon. Marcel, we'll be looking for you to come back and join us for future events, if that's okay. And young people, we may have you come and join us as well, because we're all growing together to be better and greater. So blessings to each and every one of you. And thank you again for joining us. And have a blessed day.
Before everyone
So-
leaves, we were going to do door prizes, but I think we will have enough gift cards to give to all the teens or the youth participants today. So if you will real quick, jot down your contact information in the chat room before you dip out, so we can make sure that we get those gift cards to you all that participated. Just the teens. Love y'all adults, but just the teens.
Well, I still have to, even though you're my mother.
No, you don't have to, Elijah.
Okay, just have to clarify.
Does anyone have any last comments before we leave this wonderful event?
Marcel, one other question. You mentioned your mentoring group. How do young guys get involved in that?
I'm gonna add my website on here.
Okay.
On my website, you can access a contact page or someone will reach out to you
Okay.
about that. And we're actually having an event in Spartanburg, April the 24th, as well. So I'll share that as well. I'll send my email address in here. You can email me or go to my website.
Well, we'll look forward to hearing more great things from you and getting that book.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you,
Could-
Marcel.
Maybe
All
a
right.
little short closing prayer.
Thank you.
Thank you. That would be most fitting.
Or Mr. Anderson, could you close us out?
Yes, I can. Yes, more gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this moment, this time that we have gathered collectively, God,
Prayer.
to allow us to come together, God, to hear your voice, voice of reasoning and things that we have to share with these teens. And we hope that they receive everything that has been shared, God. We thank you for this organization in HBW and the leadership within the Spartanburg upstate area, God. We ask that you continue to cover them as they continue to provide more teen summits, that more people will come and know the heart that they have for the community. We thank you and we honor you. In Jesus' name we say amen.
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 Before we close out, I would like to thank my daughter and my grands for being on this morning. I have 5 people on this morning.
Oh, wonderful.
So that's truly a blessing to me to have them on with us this morning.
Yes, indeed. That helps us to know.
Yeah, 4 grandchildren.
Yes.
Welcome.
Miss
Wonderful.
Cynthia, can you give me their names so I can make sure we have them written down and for the gift cards as well, but just so that we can have them on the roll?
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you.
You want me to just text it to you?
Yes, ma'am, that'll be fine.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
All right, so if you have put your information in the chat, you are free to go unless you have another question. Again, Marcel, we do appreciate everything that you shared. It was awesome, and we look forward to hearing from you some more.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Have a blessed day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
We
Bye-bye.
have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend. Stay safe.
Bye. All right, I think that's everybody. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.